Now this is actually easier to learn on land than it is in the water a lot of times, so that Tommy can rotate his hips and attach his hips and his shoulders to his stroke. He's trying to attach the shoulder roll to this high elbow catch, right? So he's got the two connections here. He's going to allow the elbow to come up into his catch, and he's going to rotate into it. So not only is he powering his stroke with his lat, but he's powering his stroke with his rotation.
And each stroke, finish it by pressing down and completely extending your tricep.
And you can notice how much rotation we're getting out of the hips. This we call the hip-driven stroke.
We're going to talk about shoulder-driven. This is a technique that's usually used in sprint events as opposed to hip-driven, which is more mid-distance events. The key difference is that in shoulder-driven, you try to keep your hips as stable as possible and you connect through the shoulders. Rotating your shoulder more and your chest more will help you to get a further reach. Since your shoulders are locked across the shoulder blades, when your hand is in this position, the other hand is in the catching phase. And so when you have power here and you drive your hand around, this driving motion will also drive your other hand down into a more powerful catch. So with backstroke, I try to keep my elbows high, and the heat bands actually really help keeping my elbows pulled up so that I have good backstroke technique all the way through. It allows me to think about keeping my elbow where I want it, and then also isolating my hand so that I can have a good finish and pop my hip into the next stroke. It also helps me to think about not crossing my hand over when I'm standing here, because in the water it's a lot harder to tell as opposed to on land where it's fairly easy to see if your hand is going over your head or not. So being able to just work it out of the water but feeling like you're in water is really helpful for my technique. The main focus of breaststroke for mine is keeping my elbows high and squeezing them in the recovery and then shooting them forward. What we really want to think about is sweeping and keeping our elbows high and on top of the water, and just popping through the stroke and setting the next stroke up very well. Using a creative band setup, I'm able to replicate what I feel in breaststroke in the water on land with the similar forces. So I can really feel the power of the band, which is kind of like the power of the water at the beginning of the stroke. This setup can also be used for fly. Make sure that you keep your elbows high on the catch and you keep your shoulder blades together when you extend.
The great thing about this system is it teaches Tommy to get his elbows up prior to his full connection pull. All right, go ahead, Tommy. Get that elbow up. He's got to work on getting his shoulder rotated by using his rotator cuff muscles, keeping that elbow nice and high prior to engaging his lats. That way you get a full scoop of water before you attach the lat and the rotational pull.
Now we're adding the lower tension, and what I like to do is put the handle on my fingertips so that I can really feel the catch of the water. One thing that I'll use for my workout is a metronome because I want to keep a certain rate. Usually per cycle, it takes me about 1.3 seconds for 2 strokes. And so I set my metronome to beep twice every 1.3 seconds.